I'm age 73 and I do this voice memo to record things, and I'm not sure if people are interested, but the life is so interesting and I want to say something about it. And if there are young people who can listen and gain wisdom, if my reference could be a wisdom, I don't know, but I feel there's something that I want to share. So this is the story. Um, in the last 4 or 5 months, I was going through some difficulty, and the difficulty can correspond to some, you can call it suffering, troubled case and what to do with it. So there are various videos that I posted already, but this is kind of a summary because I get to a certain level where I feel I can look back and capture the essence of it. So this is for that reason. And the main point that I want to share is that, say, if you're young and you are busy doing this and that, that's probably fine because I went through the same process, but reflecting back and what I have learned in the last 4 or 5 months may help you in some way or the other. Of course, for those other older people, it may be the case. Everybody's background and the experience base and all that habitual pattern, how they change may be different. So the story may not capture the essence for your case, but still probably it's worthwhile. So the bottom line of it is something very simple. If I can capture in few words, it is like if you are busy doing something, you may be missing a point. Missing a point of feeling how happy and peaceful and lively you can be. Of course, if you are young, you don't want to stop because there are so many interesting things to do. But at this age, the times getting less and less, and therefore, before I die in the next I don't know how many years, so the attitude toward life is different. So my attitude, whether or not that would apply to younger people, I have no idea. I may have a different opinion, and probably I won't listen too long for this kind of a story from age 73 old man. But at the same time, for me, from my end, to a degree, there may be a responsibility so that I can share with others so that the people may benefit from this old guy's saying. So, what's the essence of it? The point again is not to rush in your life. As you get older, it becomes more obvious that the rushing is constricting, confining in a way. I feel that because you are occupied in your mind to do things, therefore you're rushing. In the meantime, the time passes and you get older. So the wisdom is how to live your life in a manner that makes sense. And what do you mean by making sense? To me, being able to appreciate and be happy and peaceful. So, what is the point? Okay, I said in the last 4 months or so, I got busy and went through this troubling process of how to figure this out and not. And before that, I thought I managed my life quite well because, like this video I posted, the life profile, I've been managing my life in certain way, making sure that I monitor and assess it and then make a decision how to do so that each leg of whatever I do in my journey had somewhat of a controlled situation. But the last 4 months was much busier, unbelievably busier than what I had done in the past in my whole working life. So that gave me an interesting point of reflection, and I'm coming back to the basis of all of that. How do I capture the essence of it? So the bottom line is that if you are busy, you are occupied. And what happens if you're occupied in something? You're aiming for achieving certain goal. which is not necessarily bad. But the process of that is the question, because you have various other activities going on, not just achieving what you want to achieve, but you have the issue about the health and the relationship and financial issue if there is any problem, or some hobby and having fun, along with doing some work. And be sincere to yourself how you live, truthfully and sincerely. To me, that has been a key issue, being able to live sincerely and truthfully so that I have a, how can I say this, good balance in the way I live my life. So I monitor those, which I shared before, but in the last 3 months, 4 months was a little bit, or maybe more than a little bit, going up and down. And passing through that, I came to the resolution. Therefore, I see the picture much more clearly through the passage I took and the, where I turned and, slipped off, and I even hit my back and injured my the back. And I had a little pain, associated with that. And all of that is pointing this basic issue that if your mind is occupied, smell the roses, and you don't look up the sky, listen to the bird, and appreciate what you got inside of you. So externally, the relationship to how you live your life in your environment, and internally in your body. And what do I mean by in my body? How it happened to me was by itself a story, but I can sense basically all the cells in my body if I pay attention to it. And what does that mean? Let's call it this way. If you have the mind occupying to do something, then you have your blood going up to the frontal lobe or the brain in such area that you are to achieve something. There's nothing wrong about it. But if you are too busy doing that, you may not pay attention to, I guess I mentioned this other video, that if the stomach is hurting or leg is hurting or back is hurting, you may not notice it because you're so occupied. So in a way, you achieve something by being occupied. But if you are too occupied, again, that's the middle way kind of thing, then you are maybe missing the balance. One of the important balance, as I realize, is being connected to the root of your being, which I've said many times. Because if you don't have that sense of connection, you're kind of in the dream and floating, and in the mind, doing this, doing that, this happens, that happens. I just did the tax return and the revision of it. And then after a while, I thought, well, I get tired, then I wouldn't want to do it. So I can do it tomorrow. But if you're young and you have multiple objectives and the families and work and everything else, you get torn. Which is the priority 1 and 2 and 3 and how you manage. And I was interested in the process as a management consultant to help the companies so that they can do the same thing about structure, the strategy, and alignment of how people get involved and all of that. And if there's a miscommunication, a misunderstanding, all the way things up the top is thinking is different from what's happening at the shop floor. So my job was always checking top and the middle and the shop floor and connecting to each other. But the same thing applies to living life as an individual that I may have mentioned about the me and the mini-me or mini-mini-me. They are the different nodes, so to speak. At the top level is just the frontal lobe and figuring out the strategy, how to orchestrate life, whatever, in the brain. But it's in the mind. And there's a body and the heart saying something else, which may be forgotten. Therefore, how we make a good balance. And if you don't, You're like a machine achieving something, then not listening to the stomach hurting or the leg hurting or missing something about smell of the rose, the sound of the bird, and wind blowing through the window, and the temperature, and the cells in our body. So somewhere I may have mentioned that how do we feel happiness and peace and enjoyment? I don't think you can feel happiness so much in your brain or in your mind. Maybe there's some peak happiness moment when you solve the problem. Of course, you may feel in your whole body too. That's so exciting. But that may not happen so often. Well, if it happens every couple of months or couple of weeks, that's already good. But if there's a goal and then after one goal, there's another goal, another mountain to climb, then you're like a machine moving forward. And there may be value associated with it because especially when you can make money, for example, or helping people, definitely, that's a wonderful thing to do. But that may be more of a rare occasion if you're not careful. So some may feel it, but I see people, lots of people, including young people, get lost. So you lose the compass in life, so to speak. And there are different role models that you may have from your childhood, the parents and the friends and all that. And there's no guarantee that they are good role models, fortunate and unfortunate. So some are unfortunate and struggle because of the habitual pattern developed. Some others are much more equipped because they may have a lucky environment to live and being associated with different reference role models and so forth. So there's a distribution of different people, but still, general sense of what we do, we seem to live. And that's so apparent if you look at all the TV programs and movies and even the YouTubes that I'm interested in looking. So there are so many varieties of the choices, and now, where are you? What do you do? Where in the chart that you have in your life, how you are managing within yourself and with others, and how do you see you navigate your life? And so that the life profile I mentioned has a way to capture it so you can at least monitor and review every now and then. So you can tell how much you lost. Because if you monitor, in this case, if you're living sincerely and truthfully, it's one of the items I check, like internal sense of how lively you are, so to speak. And then the work and the hobby, relationship, health, and finance. Those are the main topics I checked every now and then to see how balanced I am. So if you can navigate our life in that way, at least you have some kind of a reflection measurement. I call PDCA process of reviewing and understanding what happens and what can be done. So you strategize. But even that may miss the point. I think it would do a great deal if you do sincerely and truthfully to evaluate. But at the end, I realized, because I've done that 20 years or so, and I felt I managed quite well. But now, after 4 months and up and down, I'm revisiting, and I can say this, that you can go even deeper than that. So if you can afford to not to rush, or if you can slow down to only aim for few target instead of multiple and doing everything you want to do, because then you may not be able to accomplish anything. So you want to focus on certain issue and therefore you're more productive and feel great, and the energy is directed, and then you don't have to run around all over the place. It's unfortunate that we may do so, and also financial resources, whatever, or unfortunate setting we may have may make it difficult to do so. But still, be sincere and truthful to be the foundation, have a calm and quiet mind, and every now and then to evaluate. And if you feel you get lost or too agitated, whatever, that's a very important point, indicating something may need to be done. So that's the whole process. So more we know about ourselves and how to balance and prioritize, and also, like I said, use the brain, but listen to your heart. Or I may want to say listen to your body or the body cells. As I mentioned, the happiness is not just in the brain and how you look nice, whatever, relative to others, but internally there's an indicator that you can check with them. If nothing happens, you can still connect to them and you can listen to the cells, nerve system, and what's happening. I was just thinking even the posture. If you have a right posture, there's a different way of energy flowing, and then you start to realize there are improvements you can make by changing the posture. What to eat, that may be another one. Exercising and taking time, not rushing from A to B. Some may do so because it's just habitual pattern, but I'm just sharing my case that you may miss important thing in my life, listening to the body. And then when I realized that, that's the main point. Like in meditation, when you're sitting, you don't have to be sitting, but be aware of what's going on outside and inside with calm and quiet mind. Basic practice to see if you're grounded, rooted, connected, everything, to see if you can feel it. Or you may be just busy in your mind, even if you posture sitting and breathing, focusing on doing this and that. But I like to say, you may miss a very important element there. Because if you don't listen to who you are, how you feel inside, you're floating like up in the air, clouds moving around from this to that. And when you do this and that, then what the next this and that? No time to reflect, go down deep in yourself. So take your time, find your space. Even that's difficult because of your habitual pattern. But my suggestion at age 73, if I can say some words for someone, if anybody is still listening, maybe it's a rare occasion, but I suggest that there's an unknown infinite resources within ourselves that we can connect and have fun by being able to know yourself and how all the cells and the body, heart, brain is functioning. And there is that we call the happiness, state of being, or peacefulness, going back to your home, as I mentioned in the other video, your own home, not confined, pushing this and that, but separate universe exists. And our universe is kind of like a fake universe in a way. If you find that the other universe of, they call it thy will be done, the law of nature is prevailing, and the cells in your body is silent, but when you connect to them, you find them vibrating and the whole body is almost shaking to share with me, indicating that thank you to notice what I'm doing, each cells. And they get energized, vibrating, stimulated, and listened to. And they start to dance and try to help each other, or with all the network of the nerves, cells, whatever. And if you can get to that level of from the posture, breathing, connection, brain, heart, body, balanced, and being able to manage life, or let the law of nature to prevail with that liveliness that we have from each cells. Can you imagine all the cells vibrating like that, and they're happy because they've been finally listened to? The mind may constrain us not being able to do that. At least I feel I found a way to connect to all the cellular level of existence, who I am. Not mind occupied and constrained, different level, dimension of who I am, where the law of nature is taking place. And for us to be able to appreciate, for us to live happily. Thank you.